Yeah. Welcome back to this week's episode of Backstage Bitches.
This week's topic, the living theater.
Theater.
This is by
Erica Vargas
and Kayla Elliott. Let's get into this topic.
Here
we got this nifty little pointer. Let's run it. Beep.
Here we go.
All right, Erica, hit us with some bios. Tell us who these people are.
All right, I got you, Kayla. So right here, we have the Living Theater, which is the oldest experimental theater group in the United States. Pretty old.
Simple.
They were founded in 1947 and based in New York City, the Big Bad Apple.
Yeah.
All right. To the side, we have Julian Beck and Judith Molina. These are the founders of the Living Theater. And here's their wonderful headshots. Nice. A little overexposed, yeah. But I'm here for the black and white, like old-esque headshots going on here.
Yeah,
how do you feel
I
about
like them? I love the side profile.
Let's bring it back.
Yeah, let's bring it back.
Come on.
All right.
Okay. So basically, Julian Beck, he was a college dropout, which is looking pretty good right now. He was actually pursuing writing and art at Yale University. And in the 1940s, he decided to stop doing that and become an experimental painter.
That's
that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. I thought about changing my major a couple times. So but he just decided to drop out. So anyway, he dropped out, became a painter, and then he started simping over Judith Molina.
Yeah, and she's a cutie.
I would simp for her too.
Yeah.
All right, look at that puckered lip.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. All right. So Judith Molina was born in Germany. She immigrated to the United States in 1929 at the age of 3 years old. That's a big move. Her parents helped her see how important political theater was by warning others about the Nazi menace. At a young age, her love for acting began. She studied theater under Erwin Piscator. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm going to go with it. In 1945, at the New School for Social Research, Piscator shared similar theater philosophies to Bertolt Brecht, which we learned about earlier this week, except departing further from the narrative norms. Molina had the same views, but she performed without violence. You go, girl.
All right, next slide. When and why was the Living Theater developed? The Living Theater was created in 1947, like Erica said, post-World War II in New York City. It was created by Judith and Julian. The goal of the Living Theater was and remains to be used to create a space for experimental theater that tackles socio-political issues such as war, gentrification, sexuality, labor, drugs, civil unrest, and hot political topics. We love a good hot topic.
We do.
The Living Theater's most recent production, titled Electric Awakening, occurred during the month of March in 2019 in Mexico City, Tijuana, and Los Angeles. This production invoked audiences to find the power within themselves to dismantle corruption and death. Hell yeah.
There we go.
All right. What else we got?
All right. The lovely couple. So Judith and Julian met in 1943 when she was 17 years old. He was at school at the time. So together they founded the Living Theater in 1947, like we've already said 3 times. Just want to really get into that.
Yeah, really get into it.
Yeah, so they directed together until Beck passed away. But during this whole time, they had a marriage that was open. So they had their 2 own boyfriends, which I listed their names on the PowerPoint. Right. But Beck and Molina also had 2 offstage children. I'm not really sure what that means, and I don't have any other sources for that. It was on Wikipedia, but they have 2 children named Garrick and Isha. Maybe Chloe can fill us in on that. Not really sure. But they started directing together until Beck passed away in 1985 from stomach cancer. And then Molina, she decided to marry her boyfriend, and they started directing under the Living Theater and just kept going until she passed away.
Heck yeah, you go, girl.
Right.
All right. What is the Living Theater's hallmark and history? The hallmark of the Living Theater is the audience confrontation and audience involvement in their productions. Like other experimental and confrontational theater spaces at the time, all of the Living Theater locations in New York were shut down by the authorities, such as the fire department, buildings department, and the IRS.
Big boo.
These closures led the company to start touring their productions in whatever venues they were allowed at. Same. It was not until the 80s when the group returned to the theater and decided to include audiences in their productions. Here we got a little link to Paradise Now. Take a gander at that to really see what they were up to. The Living Theater also put up pieces such as Frankenstein, love ya, the Antigone of Sophocles, and the Maids. Ooh. And here we got a nice works cited page. Thank you for joining us for this week's podcast.
Backstage bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.